So I have a few improvements that I would recommend to Airstream in the Airstream Interstate, starting with the microwave. The microwave drawer is a fantastic feature. However, previous models of the Interstate had a convection microwave. Now, this microwave drawer does have a roasting feature, or actually a broil feature. Whoops. And by broil, there is a heating element. I don't have power onto the microwave, but inside there is a coil, a heat coil in the top, so that you can brown foods. You cannot bake them. And it would have been nice to have a baking feature. Of course, if you don't have it, you don't use it. And so all of the meals that I've prepared have not required any baking. Now, speaking of cooking in the galley, I've started actually using the microwave more than the 2-burner propane cooktop, just for ease of cooking and less mess. I actually find that if I am going to have a propane cooktop, I only really need one. You only really ever have, or I've only ever had, one pan at a time. And of course, depending on what you're cooking, you're trying to keep your galley area clean. You don't want things splattering around. This glass lid does help any splatter, but of course right behind it you've got your ultra suede material, which runs all along the bottom. You've got your blinds, and so I'm always trying to keep a very clean galley, but at the same time I only ever really cook with one. I know some of the Winnebago era line of Class B vans have 3, and if you guys have seen those, I have no idea why anybody would need 3 burners. It takes up so much counter space in that galley. It's a complete waste of a feature to have. I think 2 is fantastic for most people. I personally could get it down to 1. Give me an additional, oh, that's easily 10 inches worth of space to the galley. Now, propane, I like that it's propane. Great to cook with, and I don't have to rely on energy. I would consider, if the Interstate did have more energy via battery backup, then I would definitely consider moving this more to an inductive cooktop, which would be a great option. But as long as Airstream's using propane, I definitely think 1 would fit the bill. For me, surely they opted for 2, as I'm sure that's what most folks are looking for. You could have a kettle on one and cook some eggs on the other. Personally, I stopped cooking eggs just because of the sheer cleanup of the eggs and everything else in the pan, and so I have been relying on the microwave much more for those quick and easy clean meals with less mess. Now, since I purchased my Airstream Interstate in November of 2016, I've only had to use the heat, which has been fantastic, and I found that camping in the cold months has been excellent. It's been easy to heat the van and keep the van heated. I've tested the AC unit a couple of times, and the first Airstream Interstate that I rented last summer, I'm very familiar with running the AC and knowing how that operates, and based on how warm it is outside, can take a little while to cool the fan down. Now, I'm curious as to if Airstream has looked into ducted heating in air, or ducted air in this matter. You'll see the air conditioning here is a single unit in the ceiling, and I know the Airstream travel trailers have ducted air throughout the ceiling, which I don't know how much room is above this interior aluminum and the actual roof of the Sprinter van. What it would do, however, is push this air intake up flush with the ceiling, save you a good, that's easily 3 inches. I'm 6'1", and when I stand inside, my hair just barely touches. So that would give you another 3 inches of space. This would become flush with the ceiling, assuming there's enough room between this aluminum and the roof of the van for ducted air. But I'm just curious as to if Airstream has considered ducted air. I think that would be a great future improvement. Another improvement that I would absolutely love is that you have 3 cameras in the Airstream Interstate. You've got one on either side. Here on the driver's side, you've got one on the passenger side, allowing you to view down the side. And then on the rear, over the rear doors, you have another door. Now, all three cameras are visible here in the rear view monitor, and you can turn them each one on and off and choose which one you'd like to see at any given time. When you use your turn indicator left or right, the correct side camera, either left or right, will appear here, so you can see if there's anything in your way as you're turning. Now, what would have been great is access to those cameras without the ignition on. Even with the house battery on, you cannot view the cameras, which is a bit confusing as to why I can't operate that monitor at all unless the ignition is on. Maybe some redundancy here in the entertainment center would have been great to view the cameras while the house batteries are on, but unfortunately the cameras are not tied into this system, so it would have been nice to have some duplication of camera wiring also running to the Fusion system, so that in the evening when all of the privacy shades are up, I could have maybe the rear camera or the side camera here showing down the side of the van towards my sliding door, so I could at least keep an eye on my campground, my sliding door, and have a little more sense of security. The dash cover that they put on top of the stock Sprinter plastic dash, it does add to the overall look of the Sprinter. Now, in 2017, Airstream started using the same color dash cover. The 2016s and prior, this color changed depending on the interior package that you selected. So here you're going to see the Beechwood cabinet color that's new for 2017 does not match the dash color at all. If you select the Colombian walnut cabinet wood, that's more of a red, deep red wood. Again, this color never changes. In 2016 it did, to match your cabinetry color. So with that said, I don't have a problem with that. I actually like the consistency of the color overall. My concern is that it's just a thin, inexpensive film, and it's kind of hard to see, but I can get my finger up under there. This is where a button would have been if there were an option on the Sprinter chassis. It's relatively stuck down around here, but if you can see, when I push that, it's not secured all the way down onto the actual dash below it. And you'll see how it moves. And look, you can hear it. So there's space back there where this was not properly secured. Look, and I can pull this. Look at that. So not high quality installation. This is a thin applique for a very expensive van. Very disappointed in the quality of that. The look is fantastic, but the quality of install and product is not. And here's the trim on the door handle side. So you can see it doesn't take a whole lot to pry that off of the stock door handle. Looks nice, but sure is flimsy. So when it comes time to winterizing your Airstream Interstate, there's a plethora of cubbies and small spaces you've got to access in order to rid the plumbing of any excess or remaining water. And one of those areas is here below the cup holder by the rear sofa. And so what I wanted to show you is what it looks like inside. Now I've got my flashlight here. It's a little dark in this area today. So all you simply do is remove the cup holder. Now, where I'd like to see Airstream improve is as you look down here, it's a hot, tangled web of electrical lines, plumbing, and crap. I mean, there's just a ton of crap under here. So let me see if I can get this light positioned a little bit. All right. So it's not the best. Trying to see down here. Let's see, without losing the flashlight, if that helps any. All right, so it's going to give you an idea. So basically, the obstacle or the object of removing this is to get to the two valves that are hidden in this space. And just by looking from the surface down, they're next to impossible to find. And keep in mind, your hand is passing by the electric, so you want to make sure you have power turned off. You've got all of these cables, and there's two little black valves that are hidden down where my light is shining right now. They're hidden beneath this electrical tubing, and you have to get down here. Oh, you can see the top of one. So if you can see right here where my finger is, if I can get the flashlight on it, that is the top. That red line is your hot water line, and there's the valve right there that you've got to turn, that you've got to open to drain. It's a low point drain. And then somewhere else behind all of this crap is the cold water. There it is, right there. You can kind of see it. It's hard to get the light on it, but you'll have to take my word for it. So what I would love Airstream to do is find a way that if they're going to have two low point valves, that it not be situated in a tangled mess of pipes and electrical wires that you have to literally reach your arm 1.5 feet down to try to get. Then once you find them, it takes a little bit of effort to actually turn those valves and get them opened and closed. It's not the easiest thing to do. So definitely would love to see some improvement there, possibly by raising those valves. If they're low point valves, that's fine, but have some sort of attachment that raises the part that you have to turn closer to the surface, which would make it a lot easier. So remove the cup holder, and you simply turn your two levers here, which those levers would attach to the valves down below. That would be great. So this is the most convoluted of all of the little drain cubby areas that you have to access that I think Airstream could do a better job at implementing. And here's the trim on the door handle side. So you can see it doesn't take a whole lot to pry that off of the stock door handle. Looks nice, but sure is flimsy. Well, that's going to wrap up my list of items that I'd love to see Airstream improve in the Airstream Interstate. I'm sure it will be a continually growing list as I explore the Interstate more and experience more of its features. And so we'll see what comes of that. As always, if you guys like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments below and let me know if you'd like to see anything else. And until next time, take care.